anything. You can do whatever you want, and if you're a good basketball player, you're still gonna show that you're a good basketball player.
Yeah, 100%. That's awesome. I guess transitioning into another segment is, I think Peyton and I are going to try to come up with a couple of trades that maybe the fans and definitely us would think, not that they're going to happen at all, and not that they're super realistic, but something that could benefit the Timberwolves and something realistic. So I'll let you have at the first one.
Oh dear. So who's even on the trade? What are some top trade block names right now?
So I mean, Aaron Gordon and James Harden are probably some of the bigger ones, and Aaron Gordon has been linked to the Timberwolves. So I think, Gerson said it, I think yesterday in a press conference. He said, this team is shaping up to be who I want it to be, but I guarantee you we're not done yet. So that just tells me they're probably going to make another move before the season starts. And I think Aaron Gordon plugged in at the 4 could be a really dangerous weapon, because that dude's really athletic and can space the floor great.
I mean, because that's kind of the only position that we're lacking in is the 4.
Yeah, when we brought in a couple people to try to help us there, and Ed Davis and Rondé, but they're both pretty heavily defensive and don't have too many offensive skills. So I mean, if you bring in a guy like Aaron Gordon, who is one of the stars of that Magic team, that's kind of a big 3, and Cat, Dlo, and Aaron Gordon.
Dude, that could be scary.
Yeah, and then you have Anthony Edwards and Malik spacing the floor too in the corners on the wings. I mean, that's really scary.
That's a really good team.
So I think to get Aaron Gordon, I think we'd probably have to give up. You think we'd probably have to throw a future first, and we'd probably have to throw him Culver or a Kogi and maybe Layman.
Get rid of Layman.
Get rid of Layman and throw.
Hey, he might be a potential guest on the podcast. We can't
not get rid of him. We're just saying if in this trade, we'd probably have to put Layman in there to match contracts, and then it'd be one of Culver. It would most likely be a Kogi, I'm assuming, and a first.
A Kogi and a first for Aaron Gordon. I think that's worth it. I think.
Oh yeah, 100%. If we can put Aaron Gordon on this team, so I think if we had that, our starting lineup would be Dlo, Malik, Anthony Edwards, Aaron Gordon, and Cat. I think even in the West, that's a for sure top 8 team. That's a playoff team.
Gotta be.
No doubt.
Yeah. So I mean, that would be a great trade. What about Harden? Let's get Harden out here. Well, what would we have to give up with Harden?
So the Harden market's a little different right now, because obviously he wants to be in a winner, but I don't know if I'm sure the Rockets would want to trade him out of the West just so it would make it easier. But I think if you were to come to the Timberwolves, since you requested a trade, this isn't just a straight trade, because if Harden didn't want to get traded and they didn't want to trade him, it would have to be a lot of first rounders, a lot of players, probably a star. But since he wants to be traded, I think the Timberwolves could give them, if they wanted him, a 2023 first, a 2025 first, both unprotected, a Kogi and Culver. Would you have to throw Rubio? You'd probably have to throw Rubio in there to match some salary cap.
No, we don't want we can't get rid of Ricky.
So it'd have to be at least 2 first rounds, possibly 3, and a couple role players, I'm assuming, if we were to try to actually go after him.
I don't want him, dude. Realistically, I don't think.
And I don't want him either. It's not worth giving up that much assets for a player who is probably going to opt out of his contract in a couple years and not going to re-sign with Minnesota.
Yeah, and he's just I've never really been a big James Harden fan as a player.
Neither have I.
I don't think he's what we need right now in our culture. He's kind of, I don't know. He just seems kind of like, I don't know. I just don't like.
He's definitely, he has to be the main guy wherever he goes. He's going to have the ball in his hands. And that's why that Brooklyn team, if they acquired James Harden, I think would be an interesting team, because you have 3 players who are all that guy on their teams previously. So I don't know.
Would be a great 2K team, but just
that'd be the greatest 2K team of all time.
I think it's funny how people just forget that KD and Kyrie are on the same team.
Yeah.
So when you do when I play 2K with my brother and you do 3 randoms and a suicide,
Mhm.
Like one time I got the Nets and I was like, crap. And then like I looked at their roster, I'm like, wait, they have KD and Kyrie?
And Dinwiddie, Karis LeVert, Jared Allen, like their team is actually really good. I would not be surprised if that team won the finals this year.
Dude, it's gonna be hard with Kyrie and KD. But then you also look at it, I mean, Kyrie knows how to play with other stars. He's always played with other stars.
Yeah.
But
I think that team will be good.
but KD is a different player than LeBron was.
Yes.
LeBron is a whole different animal than KD.
LeBron's a whole nother just different type of like he's just a different type of player. Like LeBron's a distributor, whereas KD's a scorer.
So that's why I feel like they could have some issues there. And Kyrie's just had a lot of issues lately.
They're just two big personalities too. And then if you throw Harden in there, that's just three of the biggest NBA personalities. Just some
I'd,
hotheads at times too.
I'd predict the Timberwolves would be higher than that team.
You think so?
Well, dude, how are they each going to average 30 points a game?
And then no one else touches the ball.
Like that? What? No way that's going to happen. I mean, if they could make it work, why not?
Yeah, I guess that is true. So I guess the next segment was I think we wanted to talk about how the roster is going to shape out because I believe I'll look it